Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with a brand new video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the AEW Luminaries collection, Corazon De Leon, Chris Jericho action figure. And this is one of the sweeter figures I've seen in a long time. I do not have a lot of Chris Jericho figures. In fact, I barely have any. I'm if I do, it's one. I don't have many of his Mattel figures. I think I have a couple of his Jack's Jack's Pacific figures from back in the day, but this is only the second AEW Jericho figure I have. And this one, I saw it at Walmart last week, and it was my first time seeing it in person, and I had to get this. It is so cool. So this is as you can see, the Luminaries collection, and it's a special, subset in the AEW series. So these figures, I guess the theme you would get from it is that it's more of a throwback line, but that's not necessarily the case. I think it just really highlights particular noteworthy performers in AEW's history. Of course, Chris Jericho, without mentioning one of the founding founding building blocks of AEW, as well as there's a Sting figure that I have, a Luminaries figure that came out last spring. So this figure is I just love the just the blue kind of purple, almost like prismatic, uh, you know, um, box art is just really appealing. You have kind of like the purple edge and then the blue kind of almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Foil kind of like theme, I guess, foil appearance or whatnot. And so I just chose the word prismatic. That may sum it up the best. But we're going to take a look at this figure. So this is Chris Jericho from his early days, before he was, led champion, before he was Y2J, even before he was the Lionheart. He was the Corazon De Leon in Mexico. So this is Jericho. Man, this had to have been from early 90s, like 1991, 1992 era. And the figure just looks great, which we're going to get into later. But this box is phenomenal as well, as we see on the back of it. A much younger Chris Jericho, and we have the other wrestlers in this series, one of who's not in AEW anymore, Cody, and the other one whose status is tenuous at best in CM Punk. But that's another story for another day. We're going to sit on this figure back. So yeah, so let's get into it and see what's shaking. All right, we are back, and I'm holding this figure because AEW figures, I've noticed, have a strange tendency to not stand as properly on their own as WWE figures. It's just a weird thing, and I actually noticed because that's a different story for another day. But let's get into this figure. So this is a very nice figure. Feels very good. I like the scent of it. It has a real, just strong toy plasticky scent that I just can't describe, but it's like I like that smell, and it reminds me of other figures I've gotten in the past, like an older line of figures. I don't know if we're going back to maybe the WCW San Francisco toy line figures, but it's just the smell just really stood out. But this figure, there's a lot going on here. First, Jericho. I mean, I think the head scan is excellent. We have Jericho. This looks just like Jericho did on the box in his younger days, about probably 20. This would have been about actually probably closer to 25, maybe more closer to 30 years ago. Jericho was in his, like, he's right at 50, I believe, maybe 51-ish, and this was early in his career. He would have been probably maybe 19, 20, perhaps. So we have the nice blonde hair, really movie star looks, and Jericho was throughout his career, but definitely his younger days, he was what you would consider just a good-looking guy, a good-looking wrestler who that the female fans would have gravitated towards. If Jericho was around in the with this look in the '80s, he would have fit right in with that rock and roll express, kind of team wrestler that appealed to the young female audience. The jacket is really the strong point here. He has the tasseled jacket, multicolored, which gives off very strong Sting early 90s Sting and Macho Man Randy Savage vibes. I mean, this jacket goes right in line with something that both of those guys would have been wearing in the 90s. Just really colorful. And we see the tassels on the back and then the tassels on the sides of the side on the the right and left chest, breast area. Really cool. The jacket can, I believe, come off. It doesn't snap. I don't think it snaps, but I'm not going to be taking this jacket off. It's pretty cool the way it is with the pants. Yellow trunks with looks like that's a lion definitely, and can't read the wording, but we see the kind of lion, looks like some lion stripes, lion design on it. I think, yep, we see the word lion on the left side. So, and then you have lion on the on the boots. So Jericho, this was his gimmick prior to coming to North America. When I first became aware of Chris Jericho in 1996 in WCW, he was actually going by the nickname Lionheart, and that's what Corazon De Leon translates as. It translates roughly to Lionheart, which was, his nickname and his gimmick in his first few years. And not that he did, lion mannerisms in his entrance or in the ring, or anything like that, but it really just spoke to his, pretty much, I guess you could say, the fighting spirit. That would be the closest equivalent. That was just his, that was his, he was, heart of a lion. So he was a guy that never gave up and was very persistent. And as a young wrestler, that's a very cool, relatable theme. And of course, as we saw Jericho, I mean, just through the years, Jericho just got better and better and better until he has become what he currently is, which is one of the true legends, one of the true goats of the professional wrestling industry. Jericho has to be in my top 10, top 15 of all time. And there have been few wrestlers, very few, who have successfully reinvented themselves like as Jericho has. You have some wrestlers who reinvent themselves and it doesn't go well, then they go back to their traditional personas, and you can really lump Undertaker into that category. Still an all-time legend, all-time great, Undertaker is, but no one has been able to reinvent themselves so many times as successfully as Jericho, from Lionheart to his WCW, his Monday Night Jericho days, and then the Y2J, then coming back in the taking the lead from WWE, coming back in the three-piece suits and that classic awesome feud with Shawn Michaels, and then years later with the list, and then going to AEW, becoming the leader of the Inner Circle, Jericho Appreciation Society, his current run as Le Champion. So he's just in the Ocho. So Jericho is a true Renaissance man, if there's ever been one in wrestling. So again, hope you like this review. Hope you like this new setup. I finally got my old poster back. I have not had this poster in a little over a year, so I'm just glad to finally have this. Actually, well over a year, but glad to have this back up and have this little stand so I can do some more official looking videos at locations other than the kitchen table. So again, hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I enjoy interacting with you guys, and just thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you again after